intelligence. And it's going to be a very insightful class. So this is you meeting me, especially for those who have not had the privilege of meeting me yet. And I know some people are already familiar with this voice, those who have attended other programs. So if this is my first time of meeting you, this is me saying it's nice to meet you. And in case we haven't met at all, that we've met before, it's nice to meet you again. All right, so today we're going to be looking at emotional intelligence. Once again, we want to say welcome to each and every one of you to IIPM, the Integrated Institute for Professional Management. We are glad to have you here. And today we'll be looking at emotional intelligence. So get your pen and your paper ready. Get ready to screenshot. I don't know where you are at the moment, but I know you're going to enjoy this class. All right. Having said that, can we proceed? So if you are ready for us to proceed, just type 11 in the chat room. I always like my class to be interactive, so please do interact with me as often as you can. The chat room is the place where we talk while we learn. All right. Thank you for all the 11s coming in. Thank you, Paris Benjamin. Thank you, Faith Bauer. Thank you, Grace Ojo. Thank you, Collins Mosu. Thank you, Kalisto Samadi. Thank you, David Odo. Thank you, Ololade Olasun Kami. All right. Thank you, Comfort AO. Thank you, Stephen Fosu. Thank you, Folashade Daniel. And at this point, we begin. All right. So when you hear the word emotional intelligence, what comes to mind? You know, there is something that lots of us do. And especially even we as parents, we also do that. We focus a lot on building the intellectual quotient of our children. We spend a lot of time to build our own intelligence quotient. And most times we believe that the intelligence quotient is basically all that we need to excel in life, all that we need to excel in the workplace, all that we need to excel in the business or the career path that we have chosen. But one thing we fail to understand is this, that beyond your intellectual quotient, beyond your intellectual prowess, your emotional intelligence is key. A lot of things go wrong because people do not make investments in their emotional aspect, their emotional intelligence. You can see somebody who is very smart, who is very intelligent, but the person is very poor when it comes to relating with people. And in all honesty, if you have what people need, you have the solutions that people need, you are a chartered international management consultant, and you cannot key into people's emotions, you'll be a failure. Sorry to use that word, but that is true. You will certainly fail in your endeavor of being a consultant if you do not manage the aspects of your emotional intelligence. I've seen people who seem to be smart. In fact, it's not that they seem to be smart, they're actually smart. But because they don't know how to use their emotional intelligence, they put people off easily. All right, so they make people reject them or resent them. They are not able, you are bringing solutions, but both you and your solution is rejected at the same time just because you were not able to tap or key into your emotional intelligence. In an organization, in a company, in a business, or when you deal or interact with people, have you noticed that person who is always cool-headed, who is always calm, who is rational when it comes to points, who is able to express themselves without allowing their emotions to be hijacked or taken over? What that person has is what we call emotional intelligence. It has been said that your success rate in your career path, your success rate in your organization will be attributed to 20% of your success rate or your achievements in your career will be attributed to your intellectual quotient. But but 80% of your success rate, 80% of your success or your achievements in your career will be attached to your emotional intelligence. Have you seen that person who may not be as wise as another person, may not be as intelligent as another person, but this person knows how to rapport, how to relate to people, and everybody seems to like, certainly not everybody will like you, but most people seem to like that particular person. Have you noticed that person? That person is someone who has emotional intelligence. So it's not basically about how large your brain is, or how powerful your certificates are, or how many schools you've graduated from, or how many degrees you've got. One thing is key, and that thing that is key is emotional intelligence. The concept of emotional intelligence came to be in the 1960s, and the propounder of the emotional intelligence is Daniel Goleman. Daniel Goleman wrote a book on emotional intelligence, why it matters more than the IQ. So he has this book, and he has done a lot of work around emotional intelligence. So that's how we got to know about, or how emotional intelligence got to become popular, because emotional intelligence is as old as man himself, all right, is as old as human beings, because as long as we have been created, our emotions have ruled us, have made decisions for us, have decided for us. That is why we are learning emotional intelligence, so that you don't come to a point where you allow your emotions to hijack your knowledge, all right, to hijack your decisions. Have you seen intelligent people fight? Okay, you've seen even people who are supposed to be lawmakers give themselves some blows. All right, all of this is because of very poor emotional intelligence, very poor degree or poor quality of emotional intelligence. If we do have emotional intelligence, it will help us to know what to do, how to act, how to behave, and not to make a mess of ourselves. In all honesty, let me tell you this: you may have acquired all the degrees you want to acquire, you may have mastered the art of involved in your career, you may have become a very powerful and professional consultant, but if you don't have emotional intelligence, you can destroy every single thing you have built up over decades, over years, with just one misbehavior, one inability, one act of inability to manage your emotions, and that becomes a problem. So we probably all know people either at our workplace or in our personal lives who are really good listeners. No matter what kind of situation we are in, they always seem to know just what to say and how to say it, so that we are not offended or upset. These people are caring, they are considerate, and even if we don't find a solution to our problem, we usually leave them feeling more hopeful and optimistic. Do you have anybody like that in your life? Let me know in the chat room. If you've met anyone one like that, maybe in your workplace or in your personal life, you see this person is easy to talk to, this person understands, this person is easy to reach out, you feel more hopeful by the time you've talked to this person, and you feel encouraged, you feel lifted in your spirit. If you have anybody like that around you, or you know anybody like that in your workplace, please let me know in the chat room. Just say a yes to it, all right, so that I'll know you've encountered somebody, or somebody that when the whole world seems to be going in chaos, when there's quagmire everywhere, that person is calm, that person is well articulated, the person can still reason through a storm, the person is able to calm down, be poised, and then address a particular matter. Do you know anybody like that? Yes, thank you, Olalade, for concurring. Thank you, Grace Ojo. All right. Thank you so much for concurring. I believe others do know too. Yeah, thank you for Lashade, Daniel. All right, thank you. So it means that this person actually does have emotional intelligence. And we should rightly point out that emotional intelligence is in degrees, all right? So somebody can have a low emotional intelligence quotient, and another person can have a very high emotional intelligence quotient, while another person will have an average emotion degree of emotional quotient. Now, I know some of you may have gone through the emotional intelligence class before, and there is always something new. There's always a new dimension. There's always a new perspective. And if you haven't gone through this class, I assure you, you're going to enjoy this class. It's going to be very insightful and eye-opening. So let's move on into emotional intelligence. All right. Let's move on into the course. So whenever you see loss of productivity, low morale at a workplace, poor teamwork, and work-related accidents, most of these are usually a function or a result of the organization's inability to manage the emotions of its workforce. So when you see some things going haywire and everything scattering at the workplace, things not working like they should work, there's low productivity, there's low morale, people are not able to work together in teams, all right? You see them struggling for leadership, you see others treating human beings like they are items or work tools instead of treating them like humans. When you see all of this happen, usually they are a result of an organization's inability to manage the emotions of its workforce. Because one thing we must accept and testify to is the fact that every human being is different. Every human being has their own different emotions, all right? So we were created all different. We are coming from different backgrounds and we do have different temperaments. So there are 4 basic temperaments under study. How many of them do you know? All right, let me make it a bit more interactive. Let me know out the 4 temperaments, which of these 4 do you know? Let me know in the chat room. All right, so let me know in the chat room. Do you know, have you heard about the temperaments? Let me know in the chat room. I know you must have heard of them. All right, so a lot of them said 4. Yes, so let's know what are their names. What are their names? All right, let us know the types of temperament that you do know. Yes, Ebon said 4, and I said 4. Yeah, yes, Callisto Samari, correct. Choleric, that's 1. 3 to go. All right. Pius Benjamin said the story of Moses in the Bible is apt here. Yeah, yeah. All right, so we see the other temperaments, the phlegmatic, the sanguine, the melancholy. Yes. So thank you, Ebog Eno, for saying melancholy. Thank you, Olalade, for the phlegmatic. Thank you, Grace Ojo, for sanguine. Thank you, Tari Joshua, for the melancholy. All right, so these are the different temperaments that exist, and some have the single temperament, some others are a mixture of 2 or more temperaments. And we have to know what our temperaments are. When we know what our temperaments are, we'll be able to know how to manage our emotions, because managing your emotions is a basic aspect of emotional intelligence. And in this course, we're going to be looking at whether you are here for this chartered international management consultant course, or you are here for the emotional intelligence professional course. Every person, every individual needs emotional intelligence. So we have to look at our temperaments, know what our temperaments are, the cholerics, know their strengths and weaknesses, the sanguines, the melancholies, the phlegmatics, know what the strengths and the weaknesses are, and then know how to manage our emotions as well as that of others. Now, what if there are ways to harness emotions within organizations? What if there are ways to manage emotions within teams, emotions within organizations, emotions within people that you work with in your workplace or in your organization or in your business, and make sure that we use these emotions to everyone's advantage? What if we are able to do that? The ability to do all of that is what we call emotional intelligence. So that's why we're looking at this particular course. Somebody might be asking, what does my personal emotional intelligence have to do with the corporate, my corporate workforce? See, if we all understand that we are people of emotions and we manage our emotions differently, we will know that if we understand how to manage our own emotions as well as that of others, we'll be able to have effective teams, we'll be able to have increase in performance, we'll be able to have more productivity, we'll be able to have high morale in the workplace. And these are all the reasons why emotional intelligence is essential. So this brings us to the definition of emotional intelligence. So what then is emotional intelligence? What then is emotional intelligence? In short, emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize your emotions, understand them, and see how they affect those around you. All right? Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize your emotions, understand them, and see how they affect others around you. Emotional intelligence also involves you understanding the emotions of others. All right. So it's not just about understanding your own emotions. You understand in emotional intelligence, you have to understand your own emotions, understand the emotions of others, see how your own emotions affect those around you, and key in into the emotion of others in order to work well with them. So emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize the meanings of emotions and their relationships, and to reason and to reason it out, and the problem solve on the basis of them. So when you understand people's emotions, you understand your own emotions, then you are able to bring solutions based on that understanding. That's what emotional intelligence is all about. So it's an ability, all right? So as an ability is something you either have or you don't have, but it is not innate, all right? Emotional intelligence is not an innate ability or an innate quality. It is something that you have to grow into. All right, you are not born with emotional intelligence. Nobody was born with emotional intelligence. So it's something we have to develop. It's something we have to grow. It's something we have to increase its capacity. So emotional intelligence is involved. It's involved in the capacity to perceive emotions, assimilate emotion-related feelings, understand the information of those emotions, and to manage them. So when next you hear emotional intelligence, it's not just about you're crying or you're being sad or you smiling or anything. It's ability. It's an ability, and if you don't have it, you can build it up. Most great leaders that we know all around the world are great because of their high level of emotional intelligence. It doesn't matter if if you don't know anything about it before now. The moment you begin to develop your emotional intelligence, it will begin to show all around people. It will begin to show in the productivity of people around you. Have you seen that kind of leader that people say, I don't like that leader, I just don't want to work with that leader, I don't think I can work with that leader? That leader has poor emotional intelligence. Or the person speaking or complaining equally has poor emotional intelligence. When you have a high level of emotional intelligence, you are able to work with people. You are able to make people work with you in your company, in your organization, in your business without feeling like they are slaves. All right. So emotional intelligence is key. It's something that is very important beyond our professional life. It is necessary in our relationships. It is necessary in our marriages. It is necessary for us to parent, for us to relate with our spouses, for us to relate with our family members. Emotional intelligence, I'll tell you, rules the world, because a lot of wars that are happening may not have happened if emotional intelligence was being applied. A lot of fights and quarrels that are happening around your life, around your workplace, may not have happened if emotional intelligence was applied. The low morale in your workplace, everybody's thinking of the next job to hop onto, a lot of employee turnover, all of this would be minimal if emotional intelligence is applied. That is why this particular course is so key. That is why it is very, very important that you understand it. So when we talk about emotional intelligence, know this: it is the ability to recognize your emotions, the ability to understand your emotions, and see how it affects others around you. And equally, it is the ability to recognize the emotions of others, key into it in order to have effective relationships, in order to problem solve in your organization or in your company. So that's why emotional intelligence is very, very important. All right. So let's proceed. As the pace of change increases and our workplaces make greater demands on our cognitive, emotional, and physical resources, emotional intelligence will continue to emerge, not as something nice to have, but as an increasingly important set of must-have skills. So we're not telling you that emotional intelligence is something that is just nice. Okay, to be nice for you to have this. No, it is necessary. All right, with the increase in demand at our workplaces, with the increase in demand on our cognitive ability, on our physical resources, on our time, on our emotional aspect, all of this makes it necessary that we should develop our emotional intelligence, and we should make sure that emotional intelligence is a soft skill that we must have. Based on a survey that was done sometime not some time ago, I can't pick the exact date. It was said that emotional intelligence is one of the top soft skills that managers should have, that leaders should have. And I totally agree to this. This is what Daniel Goleman has been trying to say in his book, Why Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. He wrote this book in 1995, and this book has helped a lot of people to develop a framework for understanding the concept of emotional intelligence. So this is very, very key. Daniel Goleman is an American psychologist, and he sat down and started, he's trying to figure out what is more important than having IQ. And he was able to discover that emotional intelligence is actually more important than having IQ. I am not saying that IQ, intelligence quotient, is not important. As a matter of fact, without intelligence quotient, you may not even understand what I'm saying, all right? What I'm saying might be sounding like Latin to you, but then it's important that to your emotional intelligence, I would say add to your intelligence quotient. I will want to say add your emotional quotient. To your intelligence quotient, add your emotional quotient. So this is key. What are the personal benefits of emotional intelligence? Have you asked what are the personal benefits? Is it going to benefit only my organization or my company or the work I do? What are the personal benefits I'm going to get from emotional intelligence? All right. So you, as someone who has a high degree of emotional intelligence, you're going to have greater career success. You're going to have stronger relationships with people. You're going to have increased optimism and confidence, and you're going to have better health. Believe you me, in times like this, when things are difficult, when there is recession and inflation everywhere, the truth of the matter is that you need emotional intelligence, not just to survive these times, but to thrive through these times. You need emotional intelligence. If you're going to have career success, if you're going to be able to relate well with your bosses, relate well with your subordinates, have effective teamwork, you need emotional intelligence. Your personal relationships can affect your professional performance. Who agrees with that statement? If you agree with that statement, please let me know in the chat room. Let me know in the chat room that your personal relationship has ability to affect your professional performance. If you agree with that, just let me know in the chat room. If you don't agree to, let me know. All right, you must not agree. All right, yes, Grace Ojo, thank you for concurring, thank you for agreeing. Yes, and no, Ebong, thank you too for concurring. So it's key, because if things are not working well at home, certainly by the time you come to your workplace, it will be showing in the work that you do. All right, you'll not be able to be optimal in your performance because it's affecting. Yes, I see a lot of yeses coming in. Timothy Jide, he said correct. All right. Faith Bauer said, yes, I do. Comfort AO said very true. Matthew Mensa said yes. Lala Day said yes. And Dele Arogun that they said, I agree. All right. Thank you so much for agreeing. Thank you, Pius Benjamin, who said yes. So we know that if we have quality emotional intelligence, if we have good personal relationships, then it will also help our performance even in the workplace. Emotional intelligence will also increase your optimism and confidence in life, in the work that you do. There's a lot of negativity flying around us. How many of you agree? There's a lot of negativity all around us. People talking down on others. This society is not helping. The difficult times are not helping. People are going through a lot of challenges, and some of them are letting out on others. Instead of letting out on things, they're letting out on others and making people feel bad. Your boss might come to you, might be a very difficult kind of person, somebody who is very difficult to work with. With all of this, you need emotional intelligence so that you don't allow your emotions to hijack you. Rather, you are able to control your emotions. Okay, so don't allow your emotions to drive you, but you drive your emotions. If you got what I said, you can type it in the chat room. Don't allow your emotions to, okay, let me say it in a simpler way. Drive your emotions. Don't let your emotions drive you. All right, drive your emotions. Don't let your emotions drive you. Can you type that in the chat room? All right, can you type that in the chat room? If you're used to my class, you know that we get busy in this class. All right, so just type in the chat room. I would love to get your feedback. Drive your emotions. Don't let them drive you. Drive your emotions. Don't let them drive you, because a lot of people have allowed their emotions to drive them. You've seen people removing their suits to fight. You've seen people fighting when they're being, despite the cameras. You know, in this current world, there are cameras everywhere. And everybody's recording, everybody's looking for likes and shares. So this is a terrible time to make a mistake. All right. Thank you, Ebong Eno, for typing it out. Drive your emotions. Don't let your emotions drive you. In times like this, we have to be very careful. There are things that when you do, you cannot take them back. When you do them, when you've made that mistake, you cannot take it back. All right. So you have to be careful, because one fatal mistake can cost you a lifetime career. One mistake, just one mistake, one wrongdoing can cost you a lifetime career. There's something you will do that by the time you're done, it will be difficult for you to take yourself back. Yes, thank you, Stephen. First, to drive your emotions, don't let your emotions drive you. That's key. Drive your emotions, don't let them drive you. Yeah, drive your emotions. Pius, thank you for typing. Thank you for typing. So this is very important. We need increased optimism to thrive through a life, thrive through our career. We need this confidence, the confidence that can only come from within. All right, the confidence that comes from within. Self-confidence is key, because I always say something that if nobody believes in you, you can thrive. But if you don't believe in yourself, there is no thriving for you. So you can only thrive if you allow that emotion of self-confidence to come from within you, and you have better health. All right. So when you are bitter, angry, always looking for somebody to, you're always there's acrimony all the time. You're always having resentment. You are always angry and letting out on people. There's no way you can have a better health. There's no way you can have a better health. There's no way you can live well. All right. There are a lot of sicknesses and diseases current in our world today that have underlying causes of bitterness, anger, pain, all right, and pressure. So we have to drive our emotions, and we should not allow our emotions to drive us. All right, so let's continue. So having talked about the personal benefits of emotional intelligence, let's talk about the professional benefits of emotional intelligence. How does this benefit your work? How does it benefit you in your workplace, in your career, in your company, in the job that you do, in your being a chartered international management consultant, in your being an emotional intelligence professional? How does this impact your work? And these are the few points we have here. Effective leadership skill. If you have a high emotional intelligence, you'll be a good leader. You will not be just a transactional leader. You will not just be a leader that people just a positional leader, you become a charismatic leader. You become a transformational leader. You become that kind of leader that people will always love to work with. That leader that people will always love to look up to. That leader that people will be excited to work with. Okay, so when you have high emotional intelligence, you become an effective leader. You are able to have followers. It was John Maxwell who said that if you are leading and no one is following, you are simply taking a walk. John Maxwell said, if you are leading and no one is following, you are simply taking a walk. So as a leader, you need emotional intelligence, because if you want to really lead, it means that you want people to follow you. It means you want people to follow you. And when people follow you, what will happen is that you will lead well. So please, I want you to work on your emotional intelligence so that you can become that leader par excellence that everyone will want to follow. Secondly, there'll be improved communication. There'll be improved communication. If you have a high degree of emotional intelligence, you are able to communicate to people well. We always say that communication is not complete until there is feedback. Feedback is essential for us to say that communication is complete. And when you communicate with people, the feedback they give will tell you if you are a good leader, if you have good emotional intelligence or not. Improved communication. Do you know that when you understand your emotion, you will know how to talk to people? Do you know that when you understand other people's emotion, you will equally know how to talk to people? Have you had that kind of boss in the workplace that tells people anything that comes to his or her mind? Is a terrible person to have, because the person you are talking to, you don't know how the person woke up. You don't know how the person was able to come to work. You don't know the circumstances surrounding their coming to work that day. And you just wake up and tell them, well, why are you coming to work 2 minutes late or 3 minutes late? Are you a pregnant man or a pregnant woman? You don't know what they are going through or what is happening in their life. So communication is key. Communication is the lifeline of every relationship. And if you want to have effective relationship with people that you work with, you need to apply emotional intelligence, because when you're able to key into the perspective of other people, you're able to see things from people's perspective, it will make you communicate with them well. All right, let's continue. There is less workplace conflict. Yeah, if you're able to understand your emotions and then understand other people's emotions, there'll be less workplace conflict. We are not saying there will be no workplace conflict, because wherever human beings are, there will be conflict. All right, you always see conflict. As long as human beings exist in a particular setting, in a particular place, there will be conflict, because we have different backgrounds, we have different environments that we are staying in, we have different personalities, we have different genes, and because of all of this, we have different perspectives to life, and because of all of this, there will always be conflict. But conflict reduces. All right, so there is good conflict and there is bad conflict. There are times that you may not agree on a particular matter, but you're not agreeing so that you can eventually agree. You are not agreeing so that everybody can see other people's perspective. So there'll be less workplace conflict. Where you see there's always fighting, quarreling, shouting, throwing things, emotional intelligence is very low there. So another professional benefit of emotional intelligence, that there are better problem solving skills. You are able to solve problems, because most problems that we need to solve are human related problems. All right, problems that humans have to solve, or something that's related to humans, or a problem that can be solved, then it will affect humans positively. So somehow, one way or the other, human beings are involved, and you need the emotional intelligence to be able to understand how to solve these problems without stepping on people's toes, without making some people feel less, without looking down on people. So these are some of the benefits of professional benefits of emotional intelligence. There's also increased likelihood of promotion. If you're that easy to go to person in the workplace, if you're that kind of person who people would like to talk to, have you noticed there are people that they may be subordinates, but when the leadership, the senior management, they have problems, they bring in these subordinates. You know why? they have, because they believe that these subordinates may not have the intellectual quotient to have become their bosses, but they have the emotional intelligence required to solve certain problems. So if you're that kind of person, you may be a subordinate now, but in a time not long, you'll be promoted because of your high degree of emotional intelligence. So these are the professional benefits of emotional intelligence. All right. Now, emotional intelligence has 5 crucial competencies. There are 5 crucial competencies of emotional intelligence, and we're going to be looking at this. Daniel Goleman rightly pointed them out and said that these are the aspects, the things that when you see these things work well, you can now say that this individual has a high degree of emotional intelligence. We have to know that the driving purpose of emotional intelligence and generally is to have strong and healthy and effective relationship with people. And virtually everything you have to do in your workplace as a person has to do with relationships. Without relationships, life is nothing. Without relationship, our careers will not move anywhere. So these are the 5 basic crucial competencies of emotional intelligence. And the first one is self-awareness. The second one is self-regulation. The third one is self-motivation. The fourth one is empathy. And the fifth one is effective relationship. So self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, empathy, and effective relationships. We are going to be taking them one after the other, because when you are able to be aware of yourself, then you'll be able to regulate your emotions properly. And when you regulate and control and monitor your emotions properly, you'll be able to motivate yourself to do what is right, irrespective of what the other person has done, to insist that your emotions will not drive you. Rather, you will drive your emotions. So you motivate yourself that way. And then you step on to the point where you understand other people's emotion. And when you understand other people's emotion and see things from their perspective, it will be easy for you to show empathy. You know, there are adults without empathy, and that's responsible for the evil we see around the world. And this empathy is something we should start teaching our children. We should let our children know that it is wrong for them to laugh at crippled children. It is wrong for them to laugh at those who are dumb. Most of these people came out into this world like this, and most of us did not negotiate how we're going to come into the world, all right? Most of us just came into the world and found ourselves where we found ourselves. So sometimes, after appreciating your own life, please understand that some people have it worse than you do. All right. Some people have terrible lives, and most of them is not because of what they have done. You can even sense the empathy in my voice, because, in all honesty, this world, some people said, use the slogan, life, no balance, and stuff like that. I usually don't buy into such kind of slogans, but when you look deeply at it, you see that everybody's life is not the same. All fingers is not equal. Some people have had life worse than others. Some were born crippled, some were born disabled. That is why in professional management and in some of the trainings that we have here at IIPM, we advocate for inclusion. All right, and diversity. We advocate for diversity and inclusivity, because there are people who may be, when we employ, we should not employ people based on their disability. All right, we should not reject people based on their disability. Somebody might be disabled but have the competencies that is required for the job. Go ahead and give that person the job. This is something that people abroad in the Western world, this is something they have been able to embrace. You see high-level technicians, you see high-level professionals. They may be crippled, they may be on wheelchair, but they are efficient. They're not dying off. All right, because they have studied, they have mastered what they are doing, they have mastered their profession and their disability notwithstanding. That's how we see the Paralympic games and competitions that we have for those who are paralyzed. So all of these things create more life. It creates more productivity for them. So I think I'm dwelling too much on the empathy aspect, but it is key. When you understand, when you are aware of your own emotions and you are able to regulate these emotions, then you'll be able to motivate yourself and you'll be able to show empathy to others. And when you have shown empathy to others, when you have empathy for others, you will eventually have effective relationships. You will eventually have effective relationships. I hope everyone can still hear me loud and clear. So if you can still hear me loud and clear, let me know with a yes, yes in the chat room. All right. Type in yes, yes in the chat room so that I know you can still hear me loud and clear. All right. So I'm waiting. Let me see your yes, yes in the chat room. All right. So, yeah. All right. So thank you. Thank you for all the yes, yes coming in. Thank you. All right. So let's move on, because when we are able to be aware, regulate our emotions, motivate ourselves properly, empathize with others, we'll eventually have effective relationships. I want us to look at each and every one of them, these competencies in detail. So we're going to be taking them one after the other. Are you ready? Now, let's talk about self-awareness. Let's talk about self-awareness. People who have high emotional intelligence are usually very self-aware. Self-aware simply means that you understand your emotions, you understand yourself, you understand who you are, your temperament, you understand how you feel. And because of all of this, you don't allow your feelings to rule you. All right. So self-aware individuals are confident because they trust their intuition and they don't let their emotions get out of control. The more we are aware about ourselves, the better we are able to control our emotions and choose what kind of behaviors we will display in a work setting. Without self-awareness, our emotions can blind us and guide us to do things or to become people we really don't want to be. So there is a kind of person you want to be, right? There is a kind of individual you want to be, that kind of professional that people can look up to, that kind of professional that is always in control of his or her emotions, that kind of professional that when people look at your behavior at the workplace, they love work. So, but you don't want to be the kind of person that whose emotions are flying everywhere. Highly emotional, intelligent people take an honest look at themselves. They know their strengths and they know their weaknesses. And they work on these areas so that they can perform better. Many people believe that self-awareness is the most important part of emotional intelligence. And I do believe so. Because when you understand, maybe you're a sanguine. When you understand that you have a tendency to always laugh, always to be the light hand of every office, to be the one jumping around, excited about everything, you would know who needs what you are doing. You would know who appreciates your sanguine nature. You would know times, all right, when to talk and when not to talk, when to allow, because okay, let me use an example. A sanguine may be so excited that the sanguine will just open his or her mouth and run down every information about the organization to strangers or even to people that have ability to destroy the company. So understanding yourself will help you to know what boundaries to place in your life, what things to say, oh, okay, these are okay for me to do, and these ones are things I should never even try to do. So being self-aware is essential. Being self-aware is key. When you are self-aware, you know how you are feeling all the time. When you are self-aware, you understand how those feelings you are having affect the people around you. So self-awareness is key. Secondly, let's talk about self-regulation. As a matter of fact, there is no way you can regulate yourself, your emotions, if you don't understand them. So the first thing is to be aware of your feelings, be aware of your emotions. Secondly is to regulate them. When we talk about self-regulation is simply the ability to control your emotions and actions. All right. And you can develop self-regulation by constantly living your values, by holding yourself accountable, especially when you make a mistake. So in self-regulation, you are holding yourself accountable. You are living based on your values. You are trying too hard to manage your emotions, to be in charge of those emotions, to drive the emotions and not to allow the emotions to drive you. In self-regulation, you are controlling your emotions. You are controlling your impulses. People who self-regulate typically don't allow themselves to become too angry or to become too jealous in the workplace. Do you know jealousy has driven a lot of people to do terrible things even in the workplace? If you know this is true, or you've had an experience, or somebody has done that to you, please let me know in the chat room. Jealousy has driven people in the workplace to do things they shouldn't do in the first place. So this is very, very important. People who are self-regulate, they don't make impulsive or careless decisions. They think before they act. Have you seen people who finish doing a particular thing before they say, oh, I shouldn't have done that? It's because they were not able to drive their emotions. They allowed their emotions to drive them. They were not able to regulate their emotions. So this is very, very important. Now, characteristics of a self-regulated individual is thoughtfulness. There is thoughtfulness, there is comfort. The person is comfortable with change, and the person is the person of integrity, and they have the ability to say no. If you are a person who is good at managing your emotion, at becoming a master of your emotion, at driving your emotion, you will have the ability to say no. And as a matter of fact, no is a complete sentence. Can we say it together in the chat room? No is a complete sentence. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Those who are saying yes, Kalisto Samadi, yeah, and Faith Bauer. Yeah, no is a complete sentence. So you say no to what you don't want. You are assertive. You know what you want part-time. You know what you want for the people you work with, and you know what you don't want at all. So you're able to say no, and you are not afraid to say no. All right. So people who self-regulate, they're able to manage their emotions well. People who self-regulate have become masters of mood management, not only for themselves, but for others. They understand how people are feeling. They understand how they themselves are equally feeling. When you are able to self-regulate, you are able to handle stress. You are able to communicate more constructively and more consistently. As a result, you will appear more level-headed and trustworthy to others. So self-regulation is key, very, very important. All right, let's go to the next one. Self-motivation. Now, after you have been able to become self-aware and you are also able to regulate your emotions, manage your emotions, that's by self-regulating. The next step is to self-motivate. Employees who are highly self-motivated, they realize that every job has its less enjoyable elements, but they plow ahead. There are times when your work, when you don't feel like going to work. Have you heard people say on social media, especially, how much they hate Mondays? All right. So for most people, I know most people love their job, but there are people who don't very much love the job that they do. But if you are an emotional, intelligent person, you remind yourself of the reasons why you chose that job in the first place, or why you need that job in your life. And then you do what? You motivate yourself to plow ahead. People with a high degree of self-motivation, people with a high degree of emotional intelligence are usually motivated. By motivated, what do we mean? We mean that they are willing to defer immediate results for long-term success. They are able to do what? Defer immediate results for long-term success. Let's use an example. Your immediate result may be to achieve sleep, especially on a Monday morning. But you know that for your long-term success in your workplace, there's no way you're going to sleep on a Monday morning. So what do? You encourage yourself, you motivate yourself, and you step out and you plow ahead. Self-motivated individuals are highly productive. They love a challenge and they are very effective in whatever they do. If you have emotional intelligence at a high degree, you will also have what? Motivation. Highly motivated people put off short-term rewards for long-term success. And this is key. When you are self-motivated, you accept challenges, you accept changes equally, and you are more flexible. You have better attitudes, even in the midst of pressure, and you persist towards goals despite your obstacles or the setbacks that have befallen you. So tell me why we all don't need emotional intelligence. Tell me why. Tell me why we all don't need emotional intelligence. So it is key. Self-motivation is an aspect of emotional intelligence that we should have. There are people who are not able to encourage themselves. And this is something that we'll learn in this life that we have coming. My father told me when I was a little girl, he said to me, show no weakness, for the world has no pity. And this has helped me a lot in life. This has motivated me to stand strong for myself. That's why some people say, I don't behave like a lady. I don't think like a lady. I don't understand what they truly mean, but maybe what they're talking about is my internal strength, the strength that comes from within. All right. So and when you are waiting for everyone to motivate you, we've heard a lot about employee motivation, motivating employees and the results. See, before anyone starts to motivate you, you motivate yourself. And let me tell you one truth: the self motivation, the motivation that you give yourself, is the most rewarding of all motivations. Is the one that will push you harder. Is the one that will push you forward. Is the one that will help you to achieve every single thing you have set out to achieve in life. So motivate yourself. Persist, no matter how less enjoyable it is, because you know that it will give you the long-term success that you desire. All right. My father told me when I was a little girl, show no weakness, for the world has no pity. So it made me, I was not sitting down and waiting for anyone to come and help me. I was not waiting for any uncle, any auntie, any boss anywhere, any leader anywhere. I had to be strong for myself. And do you know the truth? When people notice that you are motivating yourself, that you become an inspirational person. All right. Even in your workplace, you may not be the boss, or you may be the boss, but you become an inspirational person. People want to look up to you. You challenge people to do something for themselves. Yes, thank you. In the chat room, I see Grace or just saying no is a complete sentence. Yes, I also see Ebong Eno saying, thank you, man. Don't wait for someone to motivate you. Exactly. Push yourself harder. Challenge yourself. Don't it is commonly said that you shouldn't judge your success by how far you have run past another person. No, judge your success by how much more you have developed from who you used to be. All right? Improve on yourself, work on yourself, push yourself harder. But as you do that, understand yourself, understand your making, your competencies, your temperament, and equally understand that of others. That brings us to the next key competency of emotional intelligence, which is empathy. Empathy. Once we have become more honest and intentional with our emotions, it is then time to look outwardly. We have to consider others. We have to look at others. See, empathy is perhaps the second most important element of emotional intelligence. So if we say that self-awareness may be the most important, empathy is certainly the second most important aspect of emotional intelligence, because empathy is the ability to identify with others. Empathy is the ability to understand the wants, the needs, and the viewpoints of those around you. People with empathy are good at recognizing the feelings of others, even when those feelings may not be obvious. Do you know somebody might break the top of the photocopier in the office, But the person did not just break it because the person wanted to break it. And the underlying emotion may be the reason why this person was rough handling the photocopier machine. So sometimes we need to just step out of our own life and our own feelings and perceptions and consider other people's emotions for once. Everything is not about you, yourself, and yourself. Okay, I'm seeing something on my slides. I see a lot of scratches there. So I'm going to quickly stop the share and restart the share so that you have a very neat slide there. So some things are just on top of my screen that I don't like. All right, so here we have a neater slide. Sorry for my being very particular about that. All right, so you deserve a clean slide, right? All right, so empathy is key. Okay, maybe this is me being empathetic, making sure that you have a neat slide to study. All right, so empathy is very, very key. It's very important. So even as a result, when you are empathetic towards others, you see that you become that kind of easy person to relate with. Because ultimately, the essence of emotional intelligence is so that you can have effective, smooth, healthy relationships with people. Empathetic people are usually excellent at managing relationships. They are good at listening to others. They are good at relating to others. They avoid stereotyping and they don't judge too quickly. They live their lives in a very open and honest way. If you are an empathetic person, it will be easy for you to reach out to others. It will be easy for you to identify with others, to see things from people's perspective. If you look on the slide on the screen, just imagine there are two people there. Can you see them facing themselves? Just imagine there's a letter there, not a letter, a number. And imagine for 1 minute that the number is 6. Now, if the number is 6 facing the person by the left, by the right, certainly that person will see the number as 9. I know most of you must have seen that particular picture flying around social media. In front of one person, the number says 6. In front of the other person, the number says 9. If you have seen any picture like that before on social media, just let me know in the chat room. Have you seen anything like that? If you have not seen, you can for 1 minute use your imagination, okay? You can for 1 minute use your imagination. Imagine there's a 6 before you. Before the other person, it will certainly be 9. So if you have seen anything like that, let me know in the chat room, please. Yes, thank you, Eno. You said you have seen it. Thank you. And I know there are other people who have seen it, but if you haven't seen it, just imagine with those people standing there. Now, the other person is right by saying it is 6, and the other person is equally right by saying it is 9. None of them are wrong. And in emotional intelligence is about tuning into our own feelings as well as the feelings of others. Empathy simply means learning to see things from another person's perspective so that we can relate to them better. That's it. That's it. Thank you, Dele. You've seen it too. Yeah. So in empathy, we learn to see things from other people's perspective so that we can relate to them better. So as an emotionally intelligent individual, as an emotionally intelligent professional, as an emotionally intelligent consultant, you don't just do things from your book. You don't just do things you feel that are right from your study, from all the things you have studied. You also tune into people's feelings. You tune into people's perspective. You try to see things from other people's viewpoints, because consultants that are exceptional, consultants that eventually do well, are consultants who are able to see things from people's perspective. Are consultants who is able to see things from people's perspective. And this is very key, because imagine you have been asked to consult for an organization, and then you arrive the company or the organization where you're consulting, and then you begin to speak jargons for them. All right. So I don't know. So I don't know the background that some of you have, or where you're coming from, whether you are from a medical background or from a legal background or from an engineering background. But please just share with me some jargons in your field. All right, share with me in the chat room some jargons in your field. So I'll be waiting to share some of those jargons. All right. Yeah, thank you, Felix, for you've seen the picture before. All right. So I'm waiting for you to share the jargons in your field. So you come to the office where you're supposed to consult, and you begin to tell them according to the. I'm waiting for the jargons. I need jargons, medical jargons, legal jargons, engineering jargons, whatever jargons, wherever background you're coming from. Share with me. Share with me. Yeah. All right. So Grace will just says indemnity. So you are talking to them and you're using indemnity up and down, and they don't understand what indemnity is. So you have to beyond. You don't want people to listen to you with a dictionary, right? You want to be able to relate to them. So to see this from their perspective, when you come from your own background or from your own professionalism, I know you've studied hard. I know you have a lot of competencies. I know you've acquired a lot of degrees, but please learn to see this from people's perspective. And as a consultant, if you have come to an organization and you're supposed to consult as it relates with their staff, as it relates with their employees, and you don't tune into the perspective of the employees, you will do a shabby job. You do a terrible job. So you come and go, and the company will not get results because you are only looking at the perspective of the management that is paying you, the management that is hiring you, and that hired you, and yet you are not looking at the perspective of the employee and the staff. And we all know that any organization is only as good as the employees in that organization. Any organization is only as good, as great as the staff within that organization. So we have to key into their perspective. As a consultant, make sure that as you enter any premise, any organization, any company, any workplace, make sure that you key into people's perspectives so that you can do a very balanced job. All right. All right. So let's move on. We have a few more slides and this class will be over. Okay. All right, let me try to reshare my slide. It's stuck here. Okay. All right, so the last one, the last competency is effective relationships. Now, if we are self-aware and we are equally have ability to self-regulate, and then we have ability to self-motivate, and we also know how to show empathy to people, it will eventually result in having effective relationship, or what we call good social skills. Now, good social skills is very important. Effective relationships is very important because this helps you to work positively with people, with other people, and it helps you to manage conflict effectively. This is very important because if you must succeed in the place you work, if you must build effective teams, you should be able to know how to have good social skills. It's usually easy to talk to and like people with good social skills. Another sign of emotional intelligence is effective relationship. Another competency is effective relationship or good social skills. Those with very strong social skills are typically team players. Okay, rather than focus on your own success, help others to develop, help others to shine. All right, when you have good social skills and you have understanding of effective relationships, you will help others to manage their disputes, help them to manage their conflicts, and you become an excellent communicator, and you become a master at building and maintaining relationships. So mastering the abilities of self-awareness, self-regulation, self-motivation, and empathy will pave the way for attaining a greater skill in handling relationships. In order to be effective in our teams and organizations, we need to bring these skills together to become socially intelligence. So as we are trying to be emotionally intelligent, social intelligence is also an aspect of emotional intelligence, because ultimately the essence of emotional intelligence is to be able to relate well with people. Now let's look at some effects of poor emotional intelligence. When you have very poor emotional intelligence, what do we see? All right, so we notice a lot of withdrawal and social problems. We notice anxiety and depression. We see attention or thinking problems. We see delinquency and aggression. Have you seen people that are just unnecessarily showing aggression all the time in the workplace? Any small thing you see, this person is ready to fight. This person is ready to quarrel. All of those things are terrible. All right. Yes, I see some jargons, and I said comorbid. All right. Felix said the market is bullish today. I like that one. All right. So you see, you have to show emotional intelligence. And when you don't show emotional intelligence in the workplace, what results is there are a lot of fights, there are put downs, there are name calling at the school, at the workplace. Then there's a poor relationship. Even at home, there's poor relationship between a parent and a child. There's poor relationship between teacher and children. There is poor relationship between therapist and child. There's poor relationship between husband and wife. There is poor relationship between superiors and subordinates. There is poor relationship within the teams. So you see, it affects every aspect of our life. It affects every single aspect of our life. There is poor productivity. There is a lack of morale in the workplace. All of these are a result of poor emotional intelligence. Now, based on the competencies of emotional intelligence that we discussed, I'd like you to look at this table. This table is very clear on the basic competencies. And let's look at how the arrow goes. So if there is effective self-awareness, that is, you understand yourself, you know who you are, you have self-confidence within yourself and everything, you see that it will result in effective management, because you know who you are, you have an accurate assessment of yourself. You'll be able to control yourself. You'll be trustworthy, you'll be conscientious, you'll be adaptable, you'll be able to achieve your results. You have the drive to succeed and the initiative to do what you have to do. And because of that, you have quality relationships with people, as well as if you are self-aware and you understand the emotions of others, you have organizational awareness, you know what is expected from you, from your organization, you know what other people expect from you, you will equally have good relationships. So we see that self-recognition will lead to self-regulation, and self-recognition will help you to have social recognition. That is the recognition of the needs of others, and all of them will equally lead to effective relationship management, where you begin to have influence. You begin to influence your team, you begin to influence the people around you, you become an inspirational leader, the leader that people look up to, the leader who is able to motivate people towards a common goal, and everyone is able to do the same, even things they're not willing to do, because you are there leading them. You're able to develop others, because you cannot develop others until you tune into your own emotion and tune into the emotions of others. And then you'll be able to build strong bonds, relationships that will last over a period of time. You have effective teamwork and you have good collaboration. So that's all we have been talking about on emotional intelligence. And as a leader, you need emotional intelligence, because it will help you with self-alignment. Because you understand yourself, because you are aware of who you are, you will have self-alignment. And when you have self-alignment, you'll be able to work effectively with others. You have good relationship skill, you have good communication, you will coach them effectively, you mentor them effectively, you actualize your vision, other people's vision, and the general organization's vision. And all of this will lead to integration in the workplace, customer orientation. You have business acumen, project leadership, managing change and adaptability. All of this will happen because of the balance of emotional intelligence in your life. All right. So what are the outcomes? If you develop your emotional intelligence, what are the possible outcomes? Let's look at them. A leader who is emotional intelligent will listen to and will listen to others and employ their emotions for better decision making. So look at that boss that listens to people. Look at that boss that is able to relate well with people. That one is emotionally intelligent. All right. So you employ your emotions for better decision making. You'll be more intentional in your actions if you are emotionally intelligent. Not only that, you will create an environment where people want to work, not where people want to run away from. All right. If you are an emotional intelligent leader, you create an environment where people love to work, where people enjoy work. And then you show you care, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They will show that you care. You build trust by displaying sensitivity to the concerns and the needs of others. All right. So as a boss who is emotional intelligence, you ask people, how are you doing? Any challenge? Is there any way I can help you? All of these are key. And you become that kind of leader that everyone wants to follow. So when you're emotional intelligence, you use your energy and enthusiasm to motivate others while tempering negative responses to distressing situations. There are distressing situations that may come up, but when you are that emotionally intelligent, you will use your energy, you use your enthusiasm and motivate others and tell them this is certainly not the end of the world. Something good will come out of this. This is only a temporal shaking and we'll all bounce back out of it. And when you do this, you become that inspirational leader. Everyone wants to hear from you. Everyone wants to hear your voice, and everyone wants to reach out to you. So before we round up, let me share with you some simple and powerful tips that you have to remember as an emotionally intelligent leader. Are you ready? All right. Number one, take time every day to appreciate what is right in the world and in your life. There's a lot of negativity flying around, a lot of bad things happening everywhere. The least you can do is to appreciate what is right in the world, what is right in your life. So appreciate that you are alive. Appreciate that you have two hands. Appreciate the fact that you have two legs. Appreciate the fact that you are surviving. And appreciate the fact that you're thriving despite all the obstacles and challenges that have hit you left, right, and center. Appreciate the fact that you are still alive and you're not in a war-torn country. Appreciate the fact that you're not hiding in a cave somewhere, hiding from bullets and bombs. Appreciate the fact that I know our country, things are not the way we want it to be in this country, but there is hope. There's a tomorrow. You have to live in that realm of appreciation. So everyone, let me know in the chat room, what do you appreciate today? It may be about your life, it may be about your job. Somebody might be complaining, this my job is too stressful. Appreciate the fact that you have a job. There are people who are your age mates, people who have even higher competencies than you, and they don't have a job. They're looking for any job at all. So appreciate the fact that you have a job. Everything must not be negative, all right? So tell me in the chat room quickly, what do you appreciate? What do you appreciate? Do you appreciate life? Do you appreciate your family? Do you appreciate your brain? You have a very interesting, intelligent brain. You are able to learn more. What do you appreciate? Let me know what you are grateful for in the chat room. All right. Everyone, I'm waiting. Everyone, let me know in the chat room what you appreciate. All right. Appreciate what is right in the world. Yeah, Grace, I just said I appreciate.
I salute you.
All right. Grace, I just said, I appreciate myself. Yeah. Appreciate yourself. Number two, let's increase your emotional vocabulary. All right. So you have to increase your emotional vocabulary. Stop saying things are bad. The world is wicked. Everything is working negatively. Somebody asks you, how are you? You say, I'm managing. No. How are you? Things are getting better, right? Better than before. Things are getting fine. Oh, I'm bouncing. I'm beautiful. I'm handsome. I'm getting blessed. So increase your emotional vocabulary with nice things, all right? Yeah. Felix said, I appreciate that I'm adding knowledge today. Oh, that's beautiful. That's very beautiful, Felix. I appreciate I'm adding knowledge today. Yes, we all should appreciate that we're learning every day, all right? Because great leaders grow daily. Yeah. Pius Benjamin said, I appreciate the gift of life. Felix Bauer said, I appreciate my uniqueness. Powerful. Eno said, I appreciate family. And this class, yes, we appreciate you too. Rasta Kilawa said, I appreciate the gift of life and achievement in life. So increase your emotional word vocabulary, all right? Be positive, be cheerful, all right? Say, somebody ask you, how are you doing? Said, I'm doing better than before, all right? I'm increasing on every side. Number 3, talk to others using the I message. The I message is a kind of message that does not put the blame on someone. So when maybe you have a subordinate in your workplace who is supposed to prepare a report, and then the person has not prepared the report, and because of that it's affecting your work, instead of saying, why are you lazy, why are you not doing the work, have you not prepared the report, why are you always doing this? All right, don't use a lot of you message, use I message. In the I message, what do you say? You say something like, I have not been able to complete my job because the report is not ready. That way you are not pushing the blame on somebody. All right, you are letting him or her know how what he or she is doing is affecting you. All right. So number 4, be your own best friend. Be your own best friend. Cheer yourself up. If you don't, go to the mirror, tell yourself you are incredible. Tell yourself you are great. Tell yourself you are powerful. There is no species like you here on earth. You are outstanding. There is no photocopy of you anywhere. You are the original copy, the very best version of yourself. All right. Be your own best friend. Be your own cheerleader. All right. Celebrate yourself and then listen with your heart. When you listen to others, listen with your heart, not with your head. Try to find out how they are feeling while they are talking to you. Number 6, talk back to yourself. That's what I'm saying. Look at the mirror and tell yourself that you are gifted, you are incredible, you are the best version of yourself here on earth. None like you exists. You are a gift to this generation. Tell yourself that you are incredible. All right. So tune into your own body. Know how you are feeling, what you are feeling per time. Because when you know how you are feeling and what you are feeling, you'll be able to manage your emotion. You won't throw it on people. All right. You won't overreact on people. You won't transfer aggression. How many of you transfer aggressions here? If you transfer aggression, just raise your hand. Let us know. Because there are parents that when they come back, they start beating their children for no reason. They didn't do anything. And you're transferring aggression at work to them. And some of you, you carry the aggression from your wife or your husband at home and transfer to those at work. So tune into your body. Know how you're feeling so you know how you'll be able to relate with others. And number 8, smile more. Can somebody give me a smile? I know I can't see your faces, but can you give me a smile wherever you are? All right, because we are running up this class. That's why you should smile again. So smile, everyone. I'm smiling right here. As we round up, I'd like to give you this quote from Guy Finley. He said, never speak out of anger, never act out of fear, never choose from impatience, but wait and peace will appear. And the final quote from today is from Winston Churchill, who says, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that makes the difference. Can we say it together? Success is not final, failure is not fatal. I'm hearing some of you. So say it from wherever you are in your house, all right? I can see you. Let's say together, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that makes the difference. With that, we come to the end of this interesting course, Emotional Intelligence. Thank you. Thank you, Eno Ebong, for smiling. Thank you, Faith Bauer. I can see your smile. Thank you, Pius Benjamin, for smiling out loud. Thank you, everyone, for attending this class. I don't know if you have a question. If you do have a question, we can take a few questions now because the next session will be starting soon, especially for those, okay, I think it's a general class too. For both CIMC, that's the Chartered Institute Management Consultant students, participants rather, and the Certified Emotional Intelligence Professional participants. So the classes will be starting live here. So let's get ready. In the next 5 minutes, the class will be starting. So if you have a question or something we want to ask, let me know. Thank you, Faith Bauer. You said you are so easy to follow, and I appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate you too. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed the class. Let me know if there are no questions, because our next class will be coming up soon. If there are no questions, do let me know if you enjoyed the class and what aspect of the class you did enjoy. All right, so I'll be handing over soon, and then we'll have a few minutes break, just like we had earlier before this class, and the class will resume. Yeah, thank you, Ojo. You said, thanks for the lecture. You have added value to me. Oh, that is the best news ever. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We learn daily. I am learning from you as well as you all are learning from me today. And we thank God for the gift of IIPM that gives us the privilege to learn, even free of charge. Because as a matter of fact, even if you don't pay for the manual, you don't pay for the lectures, I know your life will never remain the same because you have participated in this class. And that is something we should be grateful for. So we appreciate IIPM that's giving us this privilege. So it has made certification and getting the manuals and writing the exams, all of this has been made optional. So you can participate and enjoy 100% free class. And believe me, whether you get a certificate or not, your life has changed. But I believe that it is better you get the certificate so that you'd have it as a competency, not just head knowledge, but it can be recognized. All right. So you can also add it to your portfolio, to your profile, and to what you do. So for all of this, we are indeed grateful. All right. In the absence of any question, we're going to be taking a 3-minute break. This is exactly 10:42, and by 10:45, the next class will start. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for listening attentively, and please do engage in the next class. It's going to be insightful. All right, so until I see you again, thank you.